it's Ben Foggins Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to the movie review, aka After I Saw review video for today. This is going to be my very first episode for this brand new series on my channel, which this new series is going to be my aka After I Saw review series for 2023, which this new series is going to consist of my reviews on brand new release films for 2023. And so to kick it all off with this new series on my channel, it's going to be my review on the 2023 comedy drama film. And this is the second film adaptation to the big screen, which this film is based on the 2012 book, which for that book was previously adapted to a theatrical release film released in Sweden in 2015. And so this film is technically a remake and all that. And as you guys can tell from the title of this video, I'm here to review A Man Called Otto. This is directed by Marc Forster, the man behind Monsters Ball, Finding Neverland, Stay, Stranger Than Fiction, Quantum of Solace, World War Z, and Christopher Robin. And this tells the story of a man named Otto, played by Tom Hanks, OTTO. And he's a grump, and he's given up on life following the loss of his wife, and he wants to end it all. But when a new young family moves in nearby in his neighborhood, he meets his match and quick-witted neighbor leading to a friendship that will turn his world around. So that's pretty much the story of A Man Called Otto. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I was actually really interested in seeing this one, since this movie stars Tom Hanks, and you guys may know already, I'm a huge fan of Tom Hanks myself. He is one of my favorite actors of all time, and he's just generally a nice human being on the planet. But what I didn't realize that after I saw the trailer for this movie is that this film is actually based off the book called A Man Called Otto, which was made back in 2012, and I was never introduced to that book before in the slightest, and I've never even read it before as well, because I'm not really a bookworm myself. And what I didn't realize that this film is actually a remake as well to the 2015 Swedish film as well. So I went to this film with a fresh open mind, knowing nothing about the previous film adaptation or the book, because again, I was never introduced to any of those things in the slightest. And once I kept seeing the trailer for this film quite a few times when I went back to cinema to see whatever I was seeing at the time, I didn't even know much of the actors who were in this film other than just Tom Hanks, who was the main star of the film. And I didn't even know who was directing until I found out this was directed by Marc Forster, which I think he is a talented filmmaker who's working to this day. Like, he has made a few great hits over the past few decades, namely Monsters Ball, Finding Neverland, Stranger Than Fiction, and Christopher Robin. And he has made a few films which people do tend to have mixed opinions on, namely Quantum of Solace and World War Z. But from all of that, I was really intrigued to see what he was going to do for this movie, and I was really intrigued to see what Tom Hanks was going to do for this movie as well. And this movie was released a week early in the UK, while this film came out in the US just a couple of days ago. Like, this was released on Friday the 13th in the US, but this was released in the UK on the 6th of January. And I didn't see it on opening day because I went to see something else, but I went to see this just a couple of days after it was released. I went to see this when I had no days in at work. So I went to see this last Tuesday, just last week. And for my screening, it wasn't like much of a full house. Like, it wasn't like completely sold out or anything like that, but there was a fair amount of people in my screening though. But after watching this whole movie, I gotta say here, guys, I surprisingly had a really great time with A Man Called Otto. This movie was generally a great watch, and I can never say this is definitely a delightful yet heartwarming dramedy here. Even though I did go in with expectations thinking this was just going to be like sort of like a good film, like a 3.5 out of 5 for me. But no, this movie was surprisingly great here from beginning to end. For Tom Hanks to play someone completely different in the movie like this really surprised me here, you guys, because usually when it comes to Tom Hanks in movies, he always plays, compelling, likable characters, which over the past few decades, he's always played those kind of characters which are generally, likable and so compelling, in which of the roles he's played over the last few decades, the ones he's played are considered, his most iconic roles, namely Toy Story, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Big, Philadelphia, and amongst others. And while he has made a few movies before in the past, which some of them are considered not his best ones, like he's made a few bad films, but he's never given a single bad performance in those films because he always manages to deliver strong performances for playing, compelling, likable characters. But in this case, for this film, we basically see him transcend to basically play someone completely different that we never see him play before, because, like I say, he just generally plays a nice character, because, in real life, for Tom Hanks, outside of doing acting, he's just generally a nice human being. But for this film, we basically get to see him play a grumpy character, like a grumpy character, in which I've never seen anything like that before. But for what he did for this film, he really surprised me here, and he just generally kicked out of the park here, you guys, because his acting in this film was very good in this film, and his character was indeed likable, and he's also really funny in the movie. And I liked how his character is portrayed in this film. Like, he's not portrayed as like this villainous grumpy man. He's not like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino, which, in that film, Clint Eastwood plays this grumpy man who just genuinely hates the world he's living in. But for this film, with Tom Hanks playing this grumpy character, like I said, he's nothing like Clint Eastwood. He's just basically a grumpy man who's just constantly annoyed with people. And again, I liked what Tom Hanks was given for his character, because for what he was given for this character, like I said, he really kicked out of the park, and his acting overall was just so good, yet really funny in the movie. And as for everyone else in the film, like you've got this new family in the film, they were also very good in the film, and they were also really funny as well. Like the two young children in the film, they were really cute and funny in this movie. And the husband in the film was also pretty good and funny as well. But the biggest show stealer of them all, when it comes to this family in this film, is the wife in the film. She is so good in the film, and she's yet really, really funny in this movie. For every scene she's in, she just steals every single scene in this film. And her interaction with Tom Hanks in the film, I really dug those moments, because I found myself really enjoying those moments when we get to see these two characters interact with each other once in a while. And as for the actors in the film, for other characters who pop up once in a while in this film, they were also really good and yet also really entertaining as well. And when it comes to the story for the film, it is pretty much a basic story and all that, because you can immediately tell where it's coming and going and all that. But it is definitely one you can find yourself remotely invested with the characters. Which in this case for this film, I found myself remotely invested with these characters and all that, and I found myself really digging with the main story of the film. However, there are a few flashback sequences in the film, which is one of my weak aspects I have with the film. I'm not saying the flashbacks in the film are boring or bad. They are interesting. It's just the way this film plays them out. Like we got to see like the younger version of Otto in the film with by a different actor, which in case for this other actor who plays the younger version of Otto is actually Tom Hanks' son in real life, which that was actually pretty interesting and surprising. And then once we get to see the whole flashback, we get to see. We basically cut to Otto in present day, where he's basically telling us like a story. I did find those moments a bit repetitive, and they do tend to drag on a little bit and all that due to its runtime, which the runtime can be a bit acceptable, but it's just when it comes to the flashbacks in the film, they do tend to drag on a little bit, and I just kind of felt the runtime could have been a bit cut short and all that, like a couple minutes short and all that, just like say like 2 or 3 minutes or something like that. Which that's another weak aspect I have with the film, along with its flashbacks. And there are also subplots in the film with other characters and all that, and other things that's going on in the film, which there isn't much depth to them. But but once I saw them in the film, I did find myself kind of interested with some of those moments. Like you've got one where Tom Hanks interacts with this cat who just constantly annoys him once in a while, but he starts to be friends with this cat and like take care of him and all that, which I found myself entertained with those moments in the film. And when it comes to its emotions in this film, they are pretty effective in the film. Like there are some comedic moments in the film, which I did find myself chuckling along with it when it came to those moments in this movie. Although this film doesn't really go for its comedic roots and all that, like it doesn't go for its lighthearted route. It mostly goes for like a serious, dramatic route. Which when it came to those moments for this film, I found myself really surprised with those moments. And they really did pull my heartstrings, because I almost felt like I really wanted to cry so bad, like break down in tears. But I didn't really break down in tears while I was watching the film. I did have a little bit of tears in my eyeballs, like they were overfilling and all that, but none of the tears just fell out my eyeballs when it came to those moments. I just managed to basically make myself stay strong when it came to those moments, even though I kept thinking at the time, I kept thinking when that happened, I felt like I just wanted to cry and all that so badly, but I managed to stay strong when it came to those moments and all that. But overall, in the end, guys, A Man Called Otto, like I said, this movie surprisingly was great here. I surprised I had a really great time with this one. This was indeed a delightful yet heartwarming film. And if you're a fan of like these kind of films that does tackle on like serious issues, or you're a fan of like the book, or you're a fan of the original Swedish film, or you're a fan of Tom Hanks or the director Marc Forster, I can definitely say this is definitely one you don't want to miss out. And if it is playing in a local cinema near you, I highly suggest check out this one on the big screen. So that's pretty much all I have to say about A Man Called Otto. I'm going to give A Man Called Otto 4 out of 5. Yep, surprised it deserves this rating, because while at first I thought this was going to be like a 3.5 out of 5 for me, but no, after watching this whole thing, like I said, I surprised I had a really great time with this one. This was indeed a delightful yet heartwarming watch from beginning to end, and despite having 2 faults with the film, I still managed to have a great time with this one. And I can also say this film definitely much appeal to an older demographic, like older audiences. Like once after I saw the film, and when I went back to work, I had a lot of old people who had seen this film, and they were having a really good time with this. Like they were laughing and crying at the same time. And this film can also appeal to a younger generation, like me and all that. Like I had a few of them who were also seeing this film with older audiences, and they were just like with the older audiences, like they were laughing and crying at the same time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my AK After I Saw review on A Man Called Otto, and let me know what you think of this brand new release if you've seen this already, if you've just recently checked out this film. Did you have a really great time with this, or was not really a cup of tea? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Falcon's Media Corner signing off.